37, page number 37. Am I audible now clearly to all? Kunal, am I audible? Fine, so yes, okay. So page number is 37, and yesterday I was explaining that there was a discussion between the cook and the gardener. The cook and the gardener, they were thinking that the master is thinking himself. Master refers to Dr. Sadao. Dr. Sadao is thinking high about himself, and so that is why he is not taking any decision. At that moment, he was with the cook. So I am reading this last passage also because yesterday I found some of the students, they left, and it is also a very important passage. Page number 37, the young master. Fine. So that young master, I'll give the short explanation, though we have done this yesterday also. That young master is so proud of his skill to save life that he saves any life. The cook said contemptuously. Contemptuously means hatefully. And so she split a fowl's neck skillfully and held the fluttering bird and let its blood flow into the roots of the wisteria vine. Blood is the best of fertilizers, and the old gardener would not let her waste a drop of it. See, this cook, what she was doing at that moment, she was cutting a fowl. Fowl is the bird. She was cutting the neck of the fowl bird at that moment. Fine. And she was in the garden. And the gardener, the old gardener, was an experienced person, and he has already told this cook that when she would be cutting the like a bird and other insects or the organisms and the animals, as I have told you, that these Japanese, they do not leave anything, starting from the cockroaches, from the rats, from the bats also, you know, they eat each and everything. So now this cook, she split the fowl's neck and let the blood flow into the roots of the wisteria vine. Wisteria is a creeper, fine. So because the gardener had told that this blood is the best of the fertilizer, so that is why she was doing. And now they were discussing that this master is very proud, though he can save, he is an expert doctor, he can save the life of any person. But this is not the way, that he is keeping this enemy in the house and he is not releasing him, not handing him over to the police authorities, right? It is the children of whom we must think, Yumi said sadly. And Yumi was also there, so Yumi said that, fine, the master is not thinking about his servants, not thinking of himself, but at least he should think of the children. Like, what would be the effect of doing this on the children? What will be their fate if their father is condemned as a traitor? Traitor means a person who is doing something against the country. So now Yumi said that if like when later on, like right now they are very small kids, fine, tiny toddlers, they are not aware. So later on when they grow up and they would hear that their father was once a traitor, you know, he was found doing something against the country, then obviously they would feel bad, and the people would again and again address them, humiliate them also. So at least he should think about that. Now, all these three servants, they were discussing the things, and important thing is they were very much aware that Hannah is standing very close to them and she was listening. She was overhearing all the conversation. So they did not try to hide what they said from the ears of Hannah as she stood arranging the days of flowers in the veranda nearby. And she knew they spoke on purpose that she might hear. Fine. So all these three servants, they were speaking so very loudly, knowing the fact that Hannah was standing close to them, and they were interested that Hannah should hear all these conversations, because she would pass all these informations to Dr. Sadao, and Dr. Sadao would take an action also. Fine. So that they were right, she knew too in most of her being. But there was another part of her which she herself could not understand. It was not the sentimental liking of the prisoner. She had come to think of him as a prisoner. She had not liked him even yesterday when he had said in his impulsive way, anyway, let me tell you that my name is Tom. Now, Hannah was also thinking about all the words spoken by these servants. And she started thinking like, right, what these people are saying, that is totally right. Because if like doing such a thing, the husband and the wife, they must think of the pros and cons of the situation. Until this moment also, they have not thought like what would be the circumstances if Dr. Sadao would be considered as a traitor. So like all these thoughts were correct, which was spoken by these servants. And moreover, she did not have any liking for this person. He is the prisoner of war, and moreover, he is the enemy of for their country. So they do not have any liking also. And moreover, till yesterday also, as we have discussed, that when every time she is going into the room of this prisoner of war, that is Pao, every time she used to go to feed the person. And so yesterday also, means that day before that day, when she was hearing the conversation, she went there, and this boy, 17 years, merely 17 years old boy, he told his name, that his name is Tom. She had only bowed her little distant bow. She saw hurt in his eyes, but she did not wish to assuage it. Indeed, he was a great trouble in this house. So now she saw hurt in his eyes. She was able to see that this person was a hurt, badly hurt. And that was clearly revealed from her eyes, means the expression. Though as we say that a face also speaks, body language also, it is we can control, like how we want to present ourselves in front of others. So with our body language, with our gestures, from our facial expressions also, we can show the confidence, the smile, the cheerful look, enthusiasm, everything can be shown. Fine. So now she was able to see that this person was badly hurt also. Means here it refers to two meanings. First is this word hurt has two meanings, and you can, as I told you in class 11th also, the literary device, that is spun, means the coinage word. So hurt here means, like as I told you, that he was tortured very badly. Fine. So the torture was still there in his mind, so that was revealed in his through his eyes. And second thing is that she saw hurt in his eyes, that he was feeling like in future some action may be taken against him. So for that also, he was in a dilemma, like what this couple has decided for this person, what will be his future also, because he is in a foreign land. So that was also clearly revealed from his eyes. So now, but she did not wish to assuage it. Assuage means soothe it, comfort it, console it. No, her intention was very clear, and the husband and the wife, they have already decided that they would be providing this person the first aid, and after that the person will be handed over. So now she did not want to comfort this person, because he is not the guest of honor. He is simply a person who is a menace, a person who is like created a problem for the husband and the wife. He was a big trouble. Now, as for Sadao, every day he examined the wound carefully. The last stitches had been pulled out this morning, and the young man would in a fortnight be nearly as well as ever. Now, as Sadao, this doctor, he was also doing his duties properly. Every day he used to pay the visit also, in order to check his pulse rate, his heartbeat, and the important thing are the stitches, whether the stitches are healing properly or not. And he was sure that within a fortnight means a period of 15 days. So within a period of 15 days, the person will be perfectly all right, and he'll be able to walk properly on his feet also. So now Sada went back to his office and carefully typed a letter to the chief of police reporting the whole matter. Now from here till the next page, it's very, very important. So now see, after doing all these things, till this moment, you must remember that he has not passed any information to the governor. Fine. The authority of Japan, that he had given shelter to an enemy. The war was going on, and he is giving shelter to an enemy. So this information is not leaked. So now he decided that the person is all right. So he should mention the complete information, like what he did to this enemy, and now the person can be taken into the custody. So now he decided to write a letter to the governor, to the chief of police. So now he decided to type a letter to the chief of police reporting the whole matter. Now he started writing, and the line that is starting with inverted comma, this is the line that is written on the letter that is addressed to the chief of police. Fine. So now on the 21st day of February, an escaped prisoner was washed up on the shore in front of my house. So far he typed, and then he opened a secret drawer of his desk and put the unfinished report into it. Now see, as he took out a sheet of paper and he started writing, and he wrote on that sheet that on 21st day of February, means on 21st of February, they found a man who was washed by the side of the shore in front of his house, and he wrote only this much, and after that he closed the letter and packed it and then kept it into the drawer. So why he left the letter in between, in the middle? Why he did not complete the letter? The reason is still he was in dilemma. Like, what is to be done with the person? If he listens to the voice of his conscience is not at all allowing him to hand this person to the police authorities, because in that manner, as I told you earlier also, definitely the death is certain in that case. Fine. So that is why he decided to keep the letter inside the box, and he did not write anything. On the seventh day after that, two things happened. Now, very, very important part of the story. Now see, as they have kept the person inside their house, and now it is the seventh day. So this means that on 21st of February, the person was found, and after that, the 27th day, that means on 28th of February, two very important things happened. Now, what are the two very important things? In the mornings, the servants left together, their belongings tied in large square cotton kerchiefs. Now see, first very important thing is, like in the morning, like when Dr. Sadao and Hannah, they got up, they found that all these three servants, they were ready with their packings. You know, they have packed all their belongings in the kerchiefs. Now kerchiefs, handkerchiefs that we call, handkerchiefs are very small, fine, that you all know, fine. And kerchiefs, they are very small beddings, you can say. So they have packed all their luggage and they were ready to leave the house because they were waiting for Dr. Sadao's action. But since he did not take the action of sending this person or handling this person to the police authorities, so now they have taken their decision that they are going to leave this house because they do not want to be in problem. Now, when Hannah got up in the morning, nothing was done. The house was not clean and the food not prepared, and she knew what it meant. Now, see, every day it used to happen that the servants, when Hannah got up in the morning, the servants, they used to complete their task. The breakfast is, prepared. The house is clean. Gardener is also cleaning the garden, taking care of the plants. Everything is done on time. So now, but on the 28th of February, when she got up, she found that nothing was done. The house was in a mess. Everything was unset. So now she was able to understand the situation. So obviously, their packing was ready. So obviously, these servants, they have decided to leave. And so now what happened? Now, instead, she inclined. Okay, she was annoyed. She was dismayed. Dismayed means she was disappointed. She was not at all expecting that all these servants who had been the part of their life, and had been living in the house since the time of the Dr. Sadao's father. So how could this be possible? They are the part and parcel of their family. How could they leave them in such a situation? So that is why she was disappointed and even terrified. But her pride as a mistress would not allow her to show it. Now she was disappointed and she wanted to speak up also that they should not do such a thing. It's not good. They would try to overcome the situation and blah, blah, and all the things. But no, her pride as a mistress, because see, she is the mistress of the house. So, that pride is not at all letting her to beg in front of these servants that they should forget about the situation, and Dr. Sada would take a decision also. So they should wait for a period of at least 2-3 days. But no, she did not beg. She did not say anything. Instead, she inclined her head gracefully when they appeared before her in the kitchen, and she paid them off and thanked them for all that they had done for her. So now she did not say anything, and now after that she paid them everything, like whatever the important amount of money they have saved, or till that day their salary also. So that was paid by Hannah. So now, and had done for okay, they were crying, but she did not cry. Now these servants, they had, they have got so much of affection. Obviously, they were not treated as the servants; they were treated as the family members. So they were crying because they are going to leave such a loving family, And they were crying, but Hannah was so strong, At that moment, she was not at all sentimental. She did not shed a tear. The cook and the gardener had served Sadao since he was a little boy in his father's house, and Yumi cried because of the children. Now the cook and the gardener, they have served Sadao since he was a little boy in his father's house. So you can imagine that when Dr. Sadao was very small child, this cook and gardener, they were there in the house. So they were like a father figure to Dr. Sadao and Hana. Fine. And Yumi was crying because of the children, because she was taking care of the children. So she was, attached with the children. So that is why she was crying. She was so grieving means feeling sorrowful. So she was so grieving that after she had gone, she ran back to Hana. Now, as they all were leaving, and Yumi was also leaving, so as she was moving away from the house, she returned back. She turned back and she came closer to the Hana. She hugged her also. Now, if the baby misses me too much tonight, send for me. I'm going to my own house and you know where it is. Now, these two lines are written in inverted commas. This means that these two lines are spoken by Yumi, the servant. So now when Yumi, she returned back and hugged Hana. So that time she said that fine, if the kids, if the babies, they miss me, they remember me too much, then you can send for me. Means you can call me. I will be ready to come to you to serve you because you are a very good mistress also. So now I would be happy. That would be my pleasure. So you can call me anytime if the kids, they miss me. And I'm going to my place, my residence that is very well known to you. So you can come to my house and call me. Definitely I'll be ready once again and take care of the children. Thank you, Hannah said, smiling, but she told herself she would not send for Yumi. However, the baby cried. Now Hana is becoming much more stronger. That is why it is always said that when the positive circumstances are there in our life, we are happy, hale, and we are always in a cheerful also. But our test is when the circumstances are negative. And strong people, courageous people, they do not surrender in front of these circumstances. So that is why she said that she was thinking inside her mind that she is never ever going to call Yumi. Even the baby would cry bitterly. The baby would continue crying for Yumi, but she is not at all going to call Yumi, because all these servants, they are behaving in this manner. At least they should have, relied upon their master, because the master is such an honest person. He is never ever going to do anything wrong, and he would never let anything wrong happen to his servants also, because they are just like the family members. So that is why Hannah was all bitter. She was feeling bad. Now, she made the breakfast and Sadao helped with the children. Now see, now the responsibilities are divided between the husband and the wife. Because earlier the task that was done by the servants, fine, now that had to be completed by Hannah and Dr. Sadao. So Hannah, she was making the breakfast. During that time, Dr. Sadao, he was taking care of the kids. So now neither of them spoke of the servants beyond the fact that they were gone. But after Hannah had taken morning food to the prisoner, she came back to Sadao. Now, after preparing for the breakfast, she went to the prisoner of war, that Storm's room, fed him also, and after that she returned back to Dr. Sadao's room. Why is it we cannot see clearly what we ought to do? By Hannah. So Hannah is talking to Dr. Sadao. Hannah says that servants are, though they are illiterate people, fine, but even then they are able to see the situation very clearly. But we as learned people, intelligence, we call ourselves as doctors also, why we cannot see the situation very clearly? She asked him, even the servants see more clearly than we do. Why are we different from other Japanese? And now she is asking a very important question, that why we are very different from the rest of the Japanese. This means that she is asking this question to Sadao. This means that whether Sadao is having this liking for the Americans, as they both have spent so much of time, so much time of their life in America. So because of that, they have developed affinity for Americans. It could Sadao did not answer, because Sadao was able to understand the intention. What was the intention behind asking this question? So he was able to understand and he did not speak. But a little later, he went into the room where the prisoner was and said briskly. Now, after that, Dr. Sadao, he went into the prisoner's room and now he said something to him. Today, you may get up on your feet. I want you to stay up only 5 minutes at a time. Tomorrow, you may try it twice as long. It would be well that you get back your strength as quickly as possible. So now, after reading these lines, the intention is very much clear. As one thing I told you, that he was writing a letter to the chief of police, that was also kept, and he did not complete this letter. He kept in the drawer. Second thing is that he did not say anything to Hannah also. Immediately he went to the prisoner's room and he said to him that now your stitches are almost healed. So what you can do, just stand on your feet for a period of 5 minutes only today. Because slowly and slowly in this manner, we will increase the duration. Fine. So for today, only 5 minutes, then tomorrow we will increase. So twice means more 10 minutes, 15. So as in this manner, if you would do, like you will be able to gain more strength, and with 2-3 days or 5 days, within a period of 5 days, you'll be able to stand on your feet and you'll be able to walk properly also. So now he said that tomorrow you may try it twice as long. It would be well that you get back your strength as quickly as possible. So from here, students, you may you are also able to understand that his intention is very clear, that this means that he wanted that this prisoner of war should be saved. He should be able to walk on his feet, so that you can I'll explain you and you come to know like what was the action that was taken by Dr. Sadao. So now he's preparing this person for that plan of action. So that is why he asked him to stand on his feet and start from that particular day. He saw a flicker of terror on the young face that was still very pale. This boy, barely 17, he was not able to understand the intention of Dr. Sadao. So there was terror that was clearly revealed through his eyes, and the face was still very pale, yellowish, because still he was, not able to have that much nourishment. Though the food is there, that is not the problem, but the body needs proper time for its healing. It's been a long time that he struggled a lot, he suffered a lot. So that is why some more time is still needed for coming to a proper situation. So, okay, the boy murmured. Evidently, he was determined to say more. I feel I ought to thank you, doctor, for having saved my life. Now, this boy, he said, thank you. And he was about to say more also. And then he said more. Because see, Dr. Sadao earlier told him that don't speak, don't talk to me also, until and unless I ask. So that is why he was bound in this thought also. But at this moment, he summoned his strength and he said at least one thing. That is, sir, I would like to thank you for saving my life. Don't thank me too early, Sadao said coldly. Coldly means cruelly. Sadao's intention is not very much clear. He was also in dilemma. What is to be done, what not to be done. So he said to Tom that please don't thank me, it's too early. Why he said so? Because inside his mind and heart also some struggle is going on. He was not sure like what he would do with this person, because there is the pressure from the side of Anna, his dear wife. There is the pressure from the side of his country also, that he is a patriot or not. So that is why so much of pressure was there, and that is not letting him to take a firm decision also. So that is why he said, don't thank me. He saw the flicker of terror again in the boy's eyes, terror as unmistakable as an animal's, He saw that the terror, and that is to the absolute terror, you can say, the stark terror, deadly terror that was revealed through the eyes of this boy. And terror that was quite similar as in the eyes of an animal who would be the victim or who would be the prey by another animal. So in the same manner, this boy was also thinking that he is just like the prey, P-R-E-Y. in the hands of Dr. Sadao, and it's not sure like what he would do in such a situation. These scars on his neck were crimson for a moment. Now these scars, as we studied in the earlier pages, the scars were there on his neck. You know, earlier they were in color, but now the color has also changed, and they have become crimson, a little pink. Not that deep dark color was there. And no, now those scars, what are they? Sadao did not ask. Sadao could see those scars once again, but he was not interested, as I told you, for the reason also, he did not want to develop any kind of affinity, friendship, or relationship with the person. So that is why he was not interested anything related to the person. He did not ask about the scars. Now, as I told you that on 28th of February, two very important things happened. First thing, as I told you, and we have discussed the complete details. So first thing is the servants, all the three servants, they left the house of Dr. Sadam. Now, the second very important thing that happened on 7th day, that is on 28th of February. In the afternoon, the second thing happened. What is that second thing? Hannah, working hard on unaccustomed labor, saw a messenger come to the door in official uniform. Now, Hannah, who was not used to, unaccustomed means not used to, of toiling, of working very hard, of doing the household chores, 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 household tasks, like for example, cooking the food, cleaning the house, cleaning the utensils, clothes, everything. So now see, the second thing is, as like on that day, Hannah was working and she was doing all the tasks of which she was not used to of. Now on that day, a messenger who came in the official uniform, that is, he was wearing the brown colored official dress, like the soldiers that they used to wear. So now her hands went weak and she could not draw her breath. The servants must have told already. She ran to Sadao, gasping. Gasping means panting, not able to breathe properly, breathing very heavily. So gasping, unable to utter a word. But by then the messenger had simply followed her to the garden, and there he stood. She pointed at him helplessly. Now, as she saw the messenger in the official uniform, different thoughts started coming into her mind. And she thought that it could be possible that this person had come to their house. Maybe that in the morning, the servants, they left the house. So it could be possible that the servants, they have left the house and they were totally against the keeping of this power, this prisoner of war into their house. So it could be possible that these servants must have complained at the police station. And because of this person who was in the official dress, he had come to summon Dr. Sadao to the police station. So that is why she was panting. She was breathing heavily. She was not able to breathe properly. So immediately she ran to Dr. Sadao in order to inform that the soldier, a messenger in the official uniform had come to their doorstep. So now, as she went to Dr. Sadao's room, this person had entered into the garden and he was standing. Hannah was not able to utter a word also. You know, she was choked, totally shattered. Like, what action would be taken against Dr. Sadao? And what would happen also if he would be in prison? Then in that condition, what would be the circumstances? How she would manage all the things? So all the, thoughts were coming, and the thoughts were breaking her also very bitterly. So then she went to Dr. Sada and she simply pointed him towards the messenger because she was not able to utter a word. She was choked badly. Sada looked up from his book. He was in his office, the other partition of which was thrown open to the garden for the southern sunshine. Dr. Sada was in his office and he was reading the book also. Immediately when Hannah directed his attention towards the messenger, he looked. And the partition of the door was also opened for the southern sunshine. Means the sunshine should enter into the room, bright sunlight should enter, and in the morning the wind should also, the fresh air should also enter into the room. So that is why he had let the door open, and he could see the person standing in the garden. What is it? He asked. He said that, like, who is the person? Why he had come? And he asked the messenger, and then he was seeing the man's uniform. And then he saw that the person was in uniform. So definitely there is a strong reason for the persons coming to their doorstep. So he asked the reason. You are to come to the palace. The man said, the old general is in pain again. Oh my God, a big problem is sorted out. As I told you in the beginning also, that General Takima was a selfish person who did not send Dr. Sadao at the war front along with these soldiers. Why so? Because he needed Dr. Sadao's help for his own reasons. He needed Dr. Sadao for his treatment also, because he was suffering the attacks also. He suffered in the past also. So that is why any time the problem may arise and Dr. Sadao may be needed. So that is why he was not sent. So now this person, he said that you are supposed to come to the palace. Fine. And the old general is in pain again. The old general is having pain in his heart. So you are supposed to come and check the person. Oh, Hannah bread. Is that all? Is that complete? Oh my God, what I was thinking, what I was wondering about all the things. So now she started relaxing. She was thinking very high. She was thinking very negative, but all of a sudden, all the problems are sorted by simply one statement from the side of this messenger. So students, it's very important, as I told you, that on the 7th day, this is also a very important question. It could be asked like, what are the two very important things that happen on the 7th day after the arrival of this prisoner of war, POW, in the house of Dr. Sadao. So the two important things, very clearly, you know, servants left first. Second is a messenger came in official uniform. So now see, oh, Hannah breathed. Is that all? Is that all you wanted to say? All the messenger exclaimed. The messenger was in surprise. Like, why you are asking? Is that all? Because he is not able to understand. Like, what is the intention of Madam Hannah? What is the intention of Mistress Hannah? So that is why all the messenger exclaimed, is it not enough? And he said that, do you want more than this? Is it not sufficient what I said? This is also spoken by this messenger. So this messenger said, Madam, is it not enough? Do you want more from my side? Indeed it is, she replied. I'm very sorry. Now she realized, actually she was lost in her thoughts. So now she came in the present situation and she regained the consciousness also. So she said, no, it is okay. It is okay. It's complete. Indeed, it is. I'm very sorry what I was saying. You know, sometimes, you know, it happens like sometimes we are lost in our thoughts. So she said, I'm very sorry. And then when Sadao came to say goodbye, she was in the kitchen, but doing nothing. The children were asleep and she said to me, for more exhausted from her fright than from her work. Now see, when Sadao came, like as Dr. Sadao, he had to go to the palace to check the general. So before going there, he came to say bye-bye to his dear wife, Hannah. She was in the kitchen. She was not doing anything at that time. And very concerned about his wife. He was able to see that there was a fear in the eyes of Hannah. Because as he could easily understand from his from her facial expression, from her eyes also, that there was fear in the eyes, as she in that time also, right, it was very clear. The children were sleeping and she was also sitting there in the kitchen thinking, and she was very much exhausted. You know, all her energy was lost, not because of unaccustomed labor that she was doing, no, not at all because of that. She was very much terrified because of the pressure that she was bearing, you know, because of the pressure that some wrong action may be taken against Dr. Sadao. He may be turned as such. So that is why she was, fearful. So she was exhausted more from her fright than from her work. She was not exhausted because of the work. That is easy. That is, though not very easy, at least she'll be able to do complete that work. But this fear, what is to be done about this fear? How to overcome this fear? That is very difficult for Hannah. I thought that they come she said. Now she very clearly said to her husband. So this shows again and again we are observing from the lines that Hannah is an obedient wife, and Dr. Sadao, he's also, you know, sharing each and everything with his wife. So they are a perfect couple. So I thought they had come to arrest you. Now she shared her feelings with Dr. Sadao. She said that I was thinking that the person had come to arrest you. He gazed down into her anxious eyes. I must get rid of this man for your sake, he said in distress. Distressed, once again disappointed, dejected also, feeling sorrow and sad. So now he said that for your sake means for you, I had to take, I must get rid of this person. I have to take some action and throw this person, kick this person out of this house because I can understand that you are in pressure. I have to take an action. Somehow I must get rid of him. Definitely, I have to take an action in order to get rid of this person from this house. Sadao goes to see the general. Now this scene is over. So you can see the next line. It is written in the brackets. Fine. It is written in parentheses. So now from here, the lines that we will be reading now, these lines are a conversation between Dr. Sadao and the general. He has left his house. The conversation between Hana and Sadao, that is end for this period. After that, when he would return, that would again start. But now the conversation between general and Dr. Sadao. Of course, the general said weakly, I understand fully, but that is because I once took a degree in Princeton, so few Japanese have. Now, what is the meaning? See, as he was called, Dr. Sada was called and he was kept in the city also, not sent at the war front. So for that reason, this general is replying. The general said very weakly, as he undergo deep pain also. So that is why his energy was also lost. So he said, I understand. This is because I once took a degree in Princeton, so few Japanese have. He said that he also took a degree from Princeton. So now, and Japanese, Japanese have never ever, they are a very less number of Japanese, those who have gone to America to take the degree. So you are a person who had gone there, you have taken the degree from America. So that is why I rely upon you. You'll come to know about more reasons also. In the next pages, we'll come to know that there are many reasons also he would be giving, like why he rely on Dr. Sada only. There are many other doctors in Japan, so why he is not relying upon those. So he said, I also took the degree from America, from one of the places, and that is why I rely upon you only. Now, I care nothing for the man, Excellency, Sadao said, but having operated on him with such a success. Now, they are discussing about this person. Sadao informed about this person, prisoner of war also. So first he said that I understand your point of view, like keeping this person inside the house, and I care nothing for the man, Excellency, Sadao said. Sadao said that I have kept this person because as a doctor, it's my duty. I have taken the oath, fine. But I have no affinity for the person. I am very clearly telling you, sir, I do not care about the person. But as a human being, I had to do my duty as a doctor also. But having operated upon him with such success, and that there is a pause. Now, why? He says that I have operated upon the person. I had to, because the person was bleeding heavily and the bullet was still inside. So I had to operate upon the person. And with such success means the operation was also successful. I was thinking that it could be possible, as we have discussed, that his pulse rate and heartbeat was slow. It was feeble. It was very weak. It could be possible that he may die. It could be possible that he would survive also. So he says that now the person had survived also and his operation was successful. So now what is to be done? If he would have died, then there would not be any problem also, neither for Dr. Sadao nor for the country. But since he survived, so now what is to be done? Yes, the general said, it only makes me feel you more indispensable to me. Indispensable means something that cannot be avoided. Somebody who is a very, very important part who plays a very important part in our life. Without the person, we cannot move on in our life. So the general said, yes, I can understand. It only makes me feel you more indispensable to me. After listening to these words, this means that you are an expert person, you are an expert doctor, and you can save the life of any dying man. You are such an expert doctor. So now that is why I feel you to be more indispensable to me, because I know if I would be on the deathbed also, I know that you would be able to bring back to life. So that is why you are more indispensable. I cannot think of here. It's very clear, minded students. It's very clear. The intention is very clear that the general, he says that I cannot take any action against you. I cannot send you behind the bars because you are a very important person in my life. Evidently, you can save anyone. You are so skilled. You are so expert as a doctor. You can save the life of any person. You say, you think, I can stand one more such attack as I have had today. And now he says, he comes to his own problem. He says that as he was able to overcome the attack, the heart attack that he suffered, that he undergo last night. So now Dr. Sadao told him very clearly that at least one more attack you'll be able to bear. And after that, if you will be, you will undergo one more attack, then that is, definitely bring death into your life. You'll be facing death. So now, not more than one, Sadao said. And Sadao said, fine, this will be the last one. Only one more attack you'll be able to bear. And after that, I cannot say anything about your life. Then certainly I can allow nothing to happen to you. This line is spoken by the general, very important line. The general said that now it's very clear that I am surviving. This means that my life is in your hands. So you are a very important person. For example, there was a story now we have studied in our previous classes, junior classes. There was a prince and his life was in the hands of a parrot. If you have studied this story, I don't know. So that is why he did not let anything happen to the parrot. Somebody told him that if that till the day parrot is alive, you will be, your life is saved. And if the parrot dies, you will be, or you will also die. So that is why the prince was very much concerned about taking care of the parrots, and he killed other animals. He was, he killed other birds also, but he did not kill that parrot. So the same thing was happening here. This general said that I cannot let it. It's a very big thing for this person. So a person sitting on a very high post, authority, he was saying that Dr. Sadao is a very important person for him. The general said with anxiety. His long, pale Japanese face became expressionless, which meant that he was in deep thought. And now, after thinking very deeply, this general, he starts speaking. He said, you cannot be arrested, the general said. Now the thing is very clear. Now it's very clear to Dr. Sadao and to Dr. Sadao that no action can be taken against Dr. Sadao from the side of general who was a super duper high authority in Japan. So now, you cannot be arrested, underline this statement. The general said, closing his eyes. Suppose you were condemned to death and the next day I had to have my operation. See how cunning, how mean, how selfish this person is. Underline this statement. This is also a very, very important line. So he says that, dear, you are so very important in my life. Suppose, for example, just imagine, if I would give you the punishment that you are condemned to death for serving as a traitor, if you will be hanged till death, if you will be sentenced till death, and the next day I had to have my operation. If I would suffer, I would go through one more heart attack and something wrong may happen and I had to go an operation, that you will be there to save my life. And he said earlier also that I cannot rely on any other doctors who have taken education from Japan. I rely only on you, Dr. Sadao. You are very dear to me. So now I cannot let anything happen to you. So now Dr. Sadao is very confident that his life is in, general's life. Earlier, what was there? Earlier, Dr. Sadao's life was in the hands of the authority, was in the hands of the general. But now the tables have turned. Now the circumstances have turned into the favor of Dr. Sadao, and the person sitting on a very high post, he said that I cannot let anything happen to you. So this is the, the God is in the favor, the luck is in his favor, the tables have turned, and from here it's very clear that the prisoner of war has definitely, indomitable courage and his extraordinary strength, and he would survive much more longer also. Fine. So thank you so much, all of you listening. The session has reached to the end also.